Hi guys, Harbs here. Before we get into today's video, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of you for supporting the channel. Whilst I was away, I reached 5,000 subscribers, which is a milestone I'm immensely proud of, and it obviously wouldn't have been possible without all of you. So thank you very much for watching and engaging with all of the videos that I put out. I appreciate it immensely, and I'm loving that the channel is doing so well. Okay, let's go. Wyll. If you somehow didn't know, he is the Blade of Frontiers.
Living legend in the flesh. I didn't become the Blade of Frontiers overnight. There is no escaping the blade.
I didn't get rid of the band and banshee by smiling at them.
And although he is fairly open about this part of his life, he isn't so open about other parts, and there is an air of mystery around him when it comes to his relationship with Mizora and his father, who he obviously has a strained relationship with. Let's see what Wyll tells us about his early life.
The Flaming Fist never did have much use for me. Can't say I blame them. My father had connections. Got me assigned to a fist outfit. Wasn't much of a fighter back then. Just a thorn in their backsides. It wasn't a good fit.
So his dad has connections, and as we're about to see, it turns out that those connections go back pretty far. I found the following line in the game files. Elton. I hail from House Elton. I sent this line over to Chublot.
Hello, my name's
and he confirmed that this is something said by Wyll. For those that have played the first game, then the name Elton will be instantly recognizable, as he was a Duke of Baldur's Gate and the leader of the Flaming Fist. In fact, he is actually the founder of the mercenary group, and we could see this way back before the first game came out. In 1987's Forgotten Realms campaign set, he is described as follows. The leader and founder of the Flaming Fist, Elton is a tactical genius who loves to fight. He is respected among the rulers of the Forgotten Realms because he is a man of principles and of his word. Duke Elton was instrumental in the downfall of Serevok in 1368 DR, when he tasked us, the player characters, with investigating the Iron Throne. He was briefly replaced as leader of the Flaming Fist by the corrupt Angelo Dosen, and although he fell ill at the hands of a doppelganger for a short while, he was ultimately responsible for assisting the hero of Baldur's Gate, Abdel Adrian, in destroying Serevok's plot. In the 15th century, Elton as a human would be long dead, but we can see that his family lives on as nobles in the city. In Murder in Baldur's Gate, which is set in 1482 DR, the following is written. Elton has an ancestral link to the Grand Duke who formed the Flaming Fist, but sold its interests in the mercenary company to pay debts. This line is repeated in the more recent Descent into Avernus. We don't know the exact nature of these debts, but it's obvious that the house is not quite in its original glory days. Let's listen to what Wyll says about his own father.
The blade comes from noble stock, chief. Born in Baldur's Gate, bred in the upper city. And a steadfast dagger in my father's side. A different time, a different will. Oh, you got me all wrong. Hell, the man was my hero. He saw whatever shiny bauble he wanted and took it. And my fingers were every bit as sticky. Then I went thieving in the wrong shadows. Got myself into trouble. Father shipped me off to the Flaming Fist. Figured they'd teach me a few lessons. I've learned a few, all right. Just not the ones he expected.
If his father is a thief and head of the noble house, then it has likely fallen from the days of Duke Elton, who used the Flaming Fist to set up colonies in the faraway lands of Mazdaca and Chult, and according to Golden Glory 1992, in the early 1360s, Elton and the Flaming Fist embarked on several adventures combating enemies like the Tugan Horde and the pirate lord known as Akbet Cruel. It's obvious that the Eltons are in harder times, given that they had to sell their shares in the Flaming Fist, and Wyll's own father seems to be a sort of rogue, or that's certainly how it seems Wyll is describing him. But then it also seems like Wyll's father still puts faith in their heritage, that being in the Flaming Fist is something to be immensely proud of. Wyll's father sent him off to teach him some lessons in discipline, and from the mirror in Ilintoth's lair, Wyll has the option to see his father forgiving him. It's obvious that he has disappointed his family somewhat, perhaps by leaving the Fist and taking the pact with Mizora. We can also learn from Murder in Baldur's Gate that Duke Elton's sword and armour is on display in the Sea Tower of Baldur, and I believe we can see that tower here. This sea tower serves the Flaming Fist as headquarters, barracks, naval base, prison and fortress. We can again see the following line in the files said by Wyll. And here I reckoned most of the city knew the name. My great-grandfather's armour still hangs in the sea tower. I'm starting to understand a little bit why Wyll feels like he always needs to boast and talk about his achievements. He has big boots to fill. A great-grandfather who literally founded the most powerful mercenary company upon the Sword Coast would surely play upon the mind of a young man who felt like he wasn't living up to the high expectations of his family. He's also named after his great-uncle, as we can see in this line here. Why? A great-uncle's name, my father said, but I just figured he couldn't spell. The legacy of his family is clearly constantly hanging over his head. Finally, I'd like to show you how the Flaming Fist react to Wyll when we get him to speak to Councillor Floric on his own at Joaquin's Rest.
Fist, to work.
Councillor, you mustn't trust this so-called Blade of Frontiers. I know what you are, Wyll. I know what you've done. And I know you're no hero.
I said to work.
Leave it to a Fist to insist on the last word.
It seems then like the Flaming Fist might be either aware of Wyll's pact with Mizora, or perhaps Wyll hasn't explained fully the events of the night when Spike gouged out his eye and burned down the village that Wyll was defending. In fact, the way that one of the goblins refers to Wyll by the windmill implies that he may not have been a lowly rank in the Flaming Fist, solidifying the idea that his family is actually well connected, and perhaps Wyll rose up the ranks even if he was inexperienced and a useless fighter, which would surely cause some contention between other Flaming Fist officers.
Well, I'll be me old friend, Captain Failure.
You! Sing for me, Roach. Tell me everything you know!
I know you ain't seeing much out of that eye pebble of yours.
If you won't tell me the truth, then I will burn it from your shite-stained throat!
Look at that! The captain grew some bollocks!
Either way, the Blade of Frontiers is stood in the large shadow of Duke Elton, and he has a lot to prove before he could possibly hope to match his great-grandfather. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed this video, then do please give me a like and subscribe, and if you want to check out my Twitter, Discord or the Patreon, then they're all linked down below. Bye!